Let's do some more tutoring. You're on break from your work in engineering, catching up on colony social media when Tang sits down beside you and clears her throat. The frown line between her eyebrows is a permanent feature these days, but today it's out in force. I need to talk through a problem I'm having, she says without preamble. A science problem? Tang nods. Yes, exactly. Usually I would talk through a blockage with congruence, she continues, but congruence's database is being recompiled this week, and she's only functioning at 10% capacity, read-only. At that point, a literal human is better at logic. You're the only person I could think of who I trust with this kind of thing, she says. Sure, I'll help. Tang launches into an explanation of the problem she's having. Luckily, she doesn't require much from you except for a friendly ear. You chime in with what you hope are helpful questions, leading her down different thought experiments that cause her to rethink the original problem, each of which she takes the time to explain with more passion than you thought Tang was capable of. What you can gather, it has to do with inclusion bodies and cytoplasmic aggregates and capsid proteins and electron refractile particles. Uber technical stuff. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh, please don't tell me that's what they're doing. Oh, fuck. Please say no. Oh, great. Oh, no. I don't like this. Being a helpful friend has been the bad plan. Oh, jeez. Yes, precisely, Tang says, pleased you're keeping up. So, as I was saying, the more you hear, the more you're sure of it. Chief Engineer Instance and Tang's secret project, the thing they've been working on behind closed doors for years, is an engineered disease. A designer virus, targeting only native Vertumnan creatures. That's the only reason Tang could be asking these kinds of questions. You ask to see her notes on the subject, and she pulls them up on her holopalm to show you. Yes, you're sure of it. What they're working on is successful. They'll affect almost all fauna on Vertumna, from tiny hop eyes to the terrible faceless. You surreptitiously record a copy of her notes on your own holopalm. Sounds dangerous. What? Tang says, forcing a laugh. This is just homework from my virology class. It's all hypothetical. She stands up from the table. Well, I should get back to work. School. Thank you for your help. Tang retreats from the break room, leaving you alone with your discovery. Try talking to her again. Take it what you've learned to the governor directly. I feel like we're gonna need to save next time, because I need to see if I can either confront the governor or if I can perhaps convince Tang to sabotage it. Oh, we are getting a lot of bonuses to pairs here. All right. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, because this is also counting as a straight. Nice. All right, we'll take that W. We could have scored 49. Interesting. Late Pollen. Ooh, new perk. Autoplay Fairy sometimes plays the best hand for you. Interesting. Alright, we're gonna save. I need to see if I can confront the governor. Over this bullshit. Put a stop to Tangent secret project. I do want to do that. What happens if we talk to Tangent? Tang seems especially troubled today, so you invite her on a long walk around the inner wall. It's Tang's thing. Thinking walks. She's touched that you know her that well. She talks in fitful bursts, then lapses into long silences. Finally, she stops and puts her hand on the wall, like she's bracing herself. Solana, something's been bothering me, she says, clenching her other hand at her side. She collects her words with great difficulty. Is it morally defensible to do something that people wouldn't approve of if you're doing it in their best interest? What if you don't have a choice? I know about the engineered plague. What is our relationship at with Tang? Hold on. What are we at? 80. Wow, we're close to 90. Tang smiles, though it doesn't reach her eyes. It's only a matter of time, I suppose, she says quietly. Sometimes it seems like you know everything that goes on in the colony. Thank you again for your help, she continues. You really were instrumental in overcoming several hurdles, whether you knew it or not. Is just using you an instance. So what? Tang retorts. Would do anything for instance. Do you think it's easy being as smart as I am and constantly being held back just because I'm just a kid? Instance is the only person in the colony who has ever treated me with respect. Tang sets her jaw. Without her, who would I be? An alcoholic like my mother? A dysfunctional loser like my brother? What the fuck, Tang? I mean, I don't know about your parent, but Dice is not a loser, and he's not dysfunctional. It's kind of sad that y'all have grown so far apart. Wrong compared to what, Solana? Tang says angrily. We're all going to die here if we don't do anything. Our explosives are going to run out, and the attacks will keep happening. If the air or the food or the weather doesn't kill us first. So talk to me about morals, she continues. I'm doing what I have to do. If you want to survive, you have to make hard decisions. This is a terrible idea. Tang rolls her eyes. What would you know? She retorts. You're just another ignorant ape, grunting fire bad without realizing you're looking at the future of humanity. She pushes herself off the wall and walks away, ignoring your protests. Looks like Tang won't be convinced. If you want any hope of stopping her and Instance from releasing the virus, you'll need to go over her head and plead with the governor directly. Do something a little more drastic. Maybe you should ask someone else who knows Tang really well. Alright, so we don't have 90. That's unfortunate. We almost had enough. Who could we... I mean, there is Dice. Dice flags you down outside the gates. He's covered in dust and grime. Must have just come back from an expedition. Hey, Solana, he says. Have you seen my sister? I went to drop off my gear at our quarters, and it looks exactly the same as I left it. I sent her a message on Holo, but she left me on read. He frowns and ruffles his hand through his hair. You work with her a lot, right? Is she okay? She's not living in the lab? She's working on a literal plague. Dice gives you an incredulous look. Sure. A plague, right. I know my sister's a huge bitch, he continues, but she's not literally an evil genius. Ooh, Tang, destroyer of worlds. Seriously? Stop messing with me. We're too old for that shit. I'm not joking, Dice. The tone of your voice makes Dice pause. Wait, you serious? That's what they're working on in there? You nod, and Dice gives a quick summary of what you've learned. And you give Dice a quick summary of what you've learned and how. By the end, he's gone so pale, he almost looks green. I don't want to believe it, he mutters. What if you're saying is true? Kill everything, won't it? Not just animals either. The fungal pathways are integral to all life on Vertumna. Hang has no idea, does she? She thinks she's so smart, but she's always been too proud to get out there and dig around in the dirt and see what's really going on. Dice looks like he's about to be sick. They released the virus. It'll be the end of everything. Even the gardeners. Dice takes a few steps away and looks out into the wilderness, covering his mouth with one hand as he thinks. Eventually, he turns to you. His face is expressionless. I'll take care of this, he says cryptically. To talk to her? Mm-hmm, he says. Yeah, I'll talk to her. He stares past you at the engineering building. Just let me deal with this, Solana. Thanks for telling me. You're winding down for bed, scrolling through the colony's social media when an explosion rocks the colony. You're pelted by knickknacks and mementos flying off your shelves as the blast wave rips through the living quarters, stealing the air from your lungs. Your ears are still ringing when you run out of the living quarters, passing people in various states of undress as you all filter outside in shock. Outside, you're greeted by the acrid smell of burning plastic and metal. The engineering building is on fire. The laboratory and medbay wing is completely engulfed in flame, smoke pouring from the open door. Congruence's fire suppression system is doing its best, but everything in there is toast. The engineering equipment, the live experiments, the chief engineer's lab and personal research, all destroyed. Any samples of their engineered virus, probably. Cover your mouth and nose with your shirt, just in case. Peng pushes past you, getting a few meters closer to the flames at the entrance, before she falls to her knees and clutches herself. She stares forward, as if in a trance, a dark smudge of silhouette against the fire's blinding orange light. You look around and meet the eyes of the chief engineer. She looks impassive as always, her jaw set. She watches the destruction of her work. For better or for worse, they won't be releasing that virus anytime soon. No rain today. Stop Tangent's engineered plague. The mood in the next day is somber. You volunteer to help the construction crews pick through the rubble and sort it to be repurposed or put in the recycler. There's nothing left of the lab or Dr. Instance's experiments. The loss is incalculable. No more engineering, obviously. But also among the casualties are other more mundane projects, like the agricultural research and medicinal plants. The med bay can be repaired, but it might take a while. You check on your friends. Everyone is stunned, and a feeling of grief pervades the colony. Council members do a head count of everyone in their divisions. By midday, they send an announcement to everyone's holopalms. Unbelievably, there were only a few burns and minor injuries. However, Dice is missing. No one's found a body yet, but with great weariness, the council concludes that Dice must have been caught in the blast. His memorial service is scheduled when... You know better, though. You bet Dice set that bomb and walked right out the front gates in the chaos. Yeah. Dice knows the wilderness better than anyone. Dice is out there. Fuck. Ugh. Right. Dice is still alive. Okay. We're good. Dice is still alive. Oh boy. Fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Fuck. Okay. Let's keep helping out with... Wait, what? Oh, it's still being repaired. I see. Well, then. I guess we can go with the old standby. I need black paint. I'm brutal. In the blackest black times infinity. Oh, I think I forgot headbats. You know, I see it dripping on your lips. No, I think we're pretty fine. I think we might have been too close to the blast, all right? So it's just kind of, you know, gotten all over. You know what? I tripped and fell into the entire pot of ink. Jeez. It's just getting everywhere. I'm completely stained, chat. It seems I fell into the inky void. Let's do a bit of xenobotany research. You run experiments. Experiments that involve lighting things on fire to see what happens. Who said doing science was for boring eggheads? This is great. Alright, nothing big or important. You can get a pair of 5s. Even better, we can get a pair of 7s. In which case, I do this. Soup. Oh, bada bing, bada boom, baby. We've already maxed out biology, baby. That's fine. All right. Is an engineering still scrapped? It is. Da chicka da chum da chicka da chum 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 plant. Let's save. The save. All right, let's go out to the ridge. See if we can find dice. Probably somewhere out here. At the very least, I want to see what happens if we try and go to the pyramid again. Go to the pyramid again. Again. I wonder if by destroying the virus, because the array is watching us, you know, it'll notice and, like, take positive actions. Like, hey, you know, you prevented a bad thing. You might actually be kind of a cool person. Let me clear your snoot. Nah. 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 I don't think it's gonna taste good. I feel like using your tongue is not an optimal appendage for wiping up all the ink. Hey Sim, have you seen dice around? You're trekking through the wilderness when something catches your eye. To anyone else, it'd simply be a weird depression between two roots. But it pings something in your memory. Isn't this what the entrance to the Overseer's Cave looked like? Decide to check it out. Your hunch is correct. The depression opens up into a passageway just big enough to wiggle your body through, then widens even more to reveal a familiar door. You quietly push it open. The room you enter is not unlike the one where you interfaced with the array. There's a vat in the corner emitting a soft organic glow, and another computer panel slowly being reclaimed by the rock wall. It's not hard to assume the planet is lousy with rooms just like this one, where Sim and the other gardeners can rest and respawn if needed. This one, however, is not empty. You enter to find Sim, who is, aptly so, as naked as the day he was born. He is stepping out of the regeneration vat, clad only in strands of bioluminescent goo that slide down his long limbs and patter to the ground. Sim's back is to you, treating you to a glimpse of skin usually hidden under layers of tattered dark fabric, the knobs of his spine and shoulder blades visible under his inhuman musculature. He looks unusually delicate, vulnerable. He reaches up and wrings out his thick hair, humming a song you recognize from the Hollow Archives. As if sensing the weight of your gaze upon his body, he pauses and slowly turns his head. "Solana," he says softly, "I didn't see you come in." "You're naked!" He looks down at himself. "Yes," he says, unashamed by his nudity. "I just regenerated." "Now that you know the truth about the gardeners," Sim continues, "we can be far more free with our words." He gestures to the regeneration vat. "I have very few secrets from you now. You could come take a closer look, if you'd like." After a beat, he clarifies. "A closer look at the vat, I mean." You walk over and check out the vat. The air gets noticeably warmer the closer you get, like sunlight on your face. There's a faint organic smell that's not unpleasant. The vat itself looks like something you'd find in engineering, but it seems to be constructed entirely out of natural materials. Spongy-looking fungal growths, mineral deposits, and pulsating vine-like umbilicals. "You can touch it," Sim says. "It's not dangerous." You sit on the lip of the vat and run your fingers across the surface of the glowing liquid. A slight electric charge prickles up your forearms. You feel the friction of a link to the array. Sim sits down beside you, now fully dressed. His fingers alight the surface of the liquid as well. You feel a slight presence at the edge of your mind, like a thought you can't reach. "I'm glad we can talk freely now," he says. "Is there anything you wish to know about me or the gardeners?" How many gardeners are there? Sim thinks for a few seconds. "It's hard to say," he answers. "There are theoretically an infinite number of instances of the, software that comprises a gardener. It's not uncommon for a particular instance, such as myself, to go dormant, possibly for thousands of years." He stretches out his fingers and looks at them, then at you. "And many gardeners, such as the Overseer, find they do not need to take physical form at all. There are only a handful like myself who do." What should we humans do? "If I knew the answer, I would tell you," Sim replies, placing his hand on top yours. "Unprotected hand-holding." "Oh, it's TOS! No, don't ban me!" "Pragmatically, I do agree with other gardeners," he continues. "If our purpose is to protect the biosphere, Fortuna, and humanity poses a threat to that, then by the letter of our own design, humanity must be eradicated. However," he sighs and looks away, "I love humanity. I think you are all an incredible species. It would be a shame to destroy you. I feel like doing so would be a violation of the spirit of the Convergent Domain's last decree. And perhaps," he murmurs, "redeeming you will be the greatest act of love we could perform in the name of our imperfect creators." You like being a gardener? "Does the wind like being wind?" Sim answers. "I'm sorry to be cryptic after I told you I would not, but there really is no other way to answer that question. I am what I was created to be," he continues. "There is a beauty in that, and a clarity of purpose that makes me feel fulfilled. Do not experience existential angst like a human does." I think that's about enough for now. Sim nods. "Please know that you can come to me at any time. I will do my best to answer," he says. "However, I must apologize for something," Sim says abruptly. "I simply must... May I touch you?" At your questioning look, Sim blushes and turns his head away. "This body is new," he murmurs, "and all of its senses are heightened. I confess, I find myself unable to stop myself from wondering what it'd be like to touch another while I am vulnerable to sensation like this. Oh, please, ooh la la, touch me anywhere, Sim. Okay. Sim looks delighted as he reaches out and pets your hair, running his fingers through the fine strands. Marvelous, he says. Truly a texture I have not been able to replicate in my own bodies. He runs a thumb over your eyebrows, then your cheekbones. His fingers dance down the bridge of your nose, then lightly dip into your philtrum, across your lips, and pause on your chin. Sim's gaze drops to your mouth, as his own lips part with an unspoken question. No kissy. Now! I understand, Sim says immediately, raising his hands away from you. Humans are bound by an intricate network of conventions around such things. This much I have gleaned from your holographic videos. I'm sorry if I have made you uncomfortable. He stands and takes a deep breath. Would like to go outside, he announces. Have you ever swam in the lake nearby? It's incredible, especially when my senses are heightened. I love the feel of the sun and water on my skin. He smiles down at you. You are welcome to join me, if you like. We go for a bit of a dip. Oh, alright, that died. Alright, 1 second. Let's reload StreamerBot. The snake is currently invisible. Not to worry, I will be visible soon. All right. And we got more things going wrong than I thought. We'll do this manually. Oh, okay, that explains a few things, actually. Now I just feel silly. There we go. I have arrived as a PNG. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, VTuber recently updated to 2.0, and it is a big update. A lot of neat new features and capabilities. It is capable of. It's a capability. One capes the abilities. You know? Crystal. Flower. A thumper. Check it out. Hi, Keeple's like, hey, Frostbee. My video trackers died. Because the battery drains faster than it charges, so it died. DED, dead. Autoplay fairy perk. Once per battle, find a slightly better hand. I see. Ah, delicious snegs. So what if I do this? No. There we go. Now I got him to match up. Damn, look at that 35. Hell yeah. 5. 5. 5. 5. Another 30 points. Very nice. Very nice. And what if I do this? Really? That's your best hand? It's literally not the best hand, though. That's weird. Alright, that auto fairy is not as good as advertised. Anyway. Ooh, we could have gotten 50. We're close to an engineering milestone. Alright. Crystal. Crystal. Ooh. Explore at random. You bravely try all the elevators. Some are broken. One gets stuck for an hour. You think you're gonna die in there. Then it chugs to life. Then you find an orrery. It's a beautiful room under one of these smaller pyramids. The light from your hollow palm glitters off the crystals in rainbow colors, dotting the walls and ceiling in familiar constellations. There's one huge crystal plate embedded in the wall, engraved with deep glyphs. Convergent domain writing, you guess? Maybe some kind of map? In the center is clearly a representation of the wormhole. Lines extend from the wormhole to other points on the map, and many more glyphs you can't read. The crystal is cut up into shards, like it could move around, but it's still and dark. Probably has been for thousands of years. Run your hands around the panel, looking for a way to turn it on. Your hands encounter a slot. Upon further inspection, it seems to match one of the artifacts you've picked up in your surveying. You slot the glowing pink device into the slot. The crystal panes on the wall come to life, the glyphs on them glowing. They start to move in an unnervingly organic way, like melting into water and sliding over the surface, rearranging themselves. Not just writing. The very surface of the panel raises and lowers, like braille. The glyphs pulse and glow the same swirly purple pink as the glowing device, which you realize must be a power source, a convergent domain battery. It's like an orrery for the wormhole? It must be one of the best preserved bits of convergent domain technology you found yet. An excellent sample of their writing. Wild to think that the gardeners are another piece of old tech, just like this place. You're starting to piece together glyphs of the converger's language. You can recognize the symbols for Vertuna, the wormhole, and the converger. Basic verbs like being and going. One that seems to mean bending or twisting, that's used all over the place. Starts to get easier. You think your brief connection to the array must have left some of the converger's language in your subconscious. It's all so much to take in. It's getting late. Better bring all your recordings back and let Congruence and the rest of the archaeology team crunch away at it for a bit. They'll be thrilled. Oh. New cards in the depot. Interesting. Let's go home. Voice. This year, Governor Lum's ascension to the Vertunalia stage is heralded by an entire band. Their instruments shiny and nano-printed new. Oh, what a great use of fucking resources, Chucklefuck McGee. Fuck off. Fuck off. They march out of command and formation, splitting and forming a phalanx at the foot of the stage as Lum takes his place before you. Spotlights turn on with heavy chunk noises, illuminating Lum in a halo of floating dust particles. He spreads his arms wide. Hello, Vertumna! His voice booms over the speakers. Are we winning or what? The reaction is mixed. You look around. Easy to see the ones cheering the loudest are Helios and people who've fully adopted their mentality, like Nem. The Stratos are more reserved, some even silent. Security Chief Rhett is one of them, his usual stony expression hiding his true feelings. Regardless, There's enough cheering that Lum has to wait for it to die down before he continues. "We're killing it out there, people," he exclaims. "Every day we claw a little more territory from the savage aliens of this planet." A potato pod arcs through the air and lands with a broken splort at Lum's feet, splattering him with juice. You don't see who threw it, but the faction from Geoponics is looking restless. They begin to jeer and stomp their feet. Lum continues on, raising his fist. "Those Xenos attacked us first, and now they're learning. Don't mess with humankind." The crowd is now evenly split between cheering and booing. The Stratos are agitated. You hear calls for things to return to how they were. How Lum and his soldiers are killing the planet. Even the council, lined up before the stage and facing the crowd, looks conflicted. "That ain't how it is." Utopia turns and hollers up at Lum. "You don't even know what it's like out there. You just send folks out to die for your stupid war." Utopia hops on stage and routs her own here speak through your speakers. "He's lying," she yells bitterly. "This year, we lost 2 surveyors in the swamp, Sorrel and Knie. They'd be alive today if Lum hadn't sent them to clear out a manticore den for no good reason." She jams her finger against the governor's chest. "The only threat to our colony here is you." Lum's smile doesn't change, but his eyes go cold. He snatches Utopia's hand and calmly, slowly, crushes her hollow palm crystal with his thumb. You can hear the crunch of the bones of her hand before her feed cuts out. Utopia yelps as her knees buckle with the pain, her bravado gone. She holds her broken hand to her chest and is too shocked to resist when Lum shoves her off stage. "Wow, way to go, turbo fuckhead." Alright, fuck throwing potato plants. We need some fucking rocks. The crowd is stunned into silence as well. Lum clears his throat and approaches the end of the stage, looming tall over the council. "Thank you for your input," he says icily. "Your concerns have been noted." This isn't the buffoon Lum presents on his daily holo vlogs, or the nuisance he is when he visits a worksite. You see something in his eyes you've only caught glimmers of before. Hatred. "You Stratos are lucky we didn't crush you under our boots and take your colony by force," he sneers. "Before we got here, this colony was doomed. You're only alive because I was merciful. Just a bunch of burned out hippie fugitives. What was your plan for surviving out here? Wishful thinking? Singing songs and talking to animals?" Laughter ripples through the Helios. "You," he gestures to the council, then jerks his thumb at his chest, "need us, not the other way around. I'm done pretending. I need to listen to your opinions. If you want to live, you'll do what I say." He stares at Dr. Instance, who glares up at him with hate in her eyes as she tends to Utopia's hand. "Maybe it's time to clean house," he threatens. "We need some team players here, ones who share one vision for the future of Vertumna." After a few tense moments, Seek clears their throat. "Ahem, sir. Shall I continue with the traditional formalities now?" Lum scowls down at Seek, then throws his hands in the air. "Whatever. Do it. If it makes you all feel better. You're all cowards." He turns and stalks off stage, his marching band scrambling to follow him with its exit song. "One vision, one purpose, peace through power." As promised, there are no contests this year, but there's plenty of food and alcohol. The sun begins to set. The Helios, including Vase and Nem, head straight for it. Poor Nem. It seems not even seeing Utopia get fucked over like that. Fucking, what happened, Nem? What happened to you? Hang out with the Stratos. "No, I totally get it," Rex says to Cal as you approach. "It used to be this mean. Sure, we all joked about how, like, we'd find you guys rubbing sticks together in the dirt after your nanotech broke down, but it wasn't like this." He jerks his thumb towards Vase and his group of friends, who wrangled themselves a live trippet and are skewering it to roast over... What the fuck? Oh, that's fucked up. What the fuck? No, they've always been like this. Nomi shakes their head. Just like total human supremacists. See something you don't understand? Nomi makes laser guns with her fingers. Pew pew, all gone. Want something someone else has? Pew pew, all yours. They lean back on their hands and look up at the sky. In dust, the wormhole looks so peaceful and far away. I used to think me and Rex were like changelings. Like aliens beamed in and replaced 2 human babies with weirdos. I don't think you're weird, Cal says, eyes wide. I think it's really great you two don't act like Helios. Yeah, Helios though, Rex replies and Nomi nods. And some people dance around that bonfire of Stratos. It's not like how you were raised. It's not about how you were raised. It's about the choices you make, Nomi finishes. No one is just a good person or a bad person. Only bad people think they always make the right choices. The dancing and feasting continues well into the night. You pass the time with your friends in the peaceful faction. Knowing that the whole colony isn't being soldiers and fighting Lum's war on nature makes you feel less alone. You can't stop thinking about the governor's eyes as he crushed Utopia's hand today. So long as he's in charge, does it matter what anyone else wants? The week after Virtunalia is one of the hottest since you landed. You're supposed to take time off for a much needed break. But it's so humid and awful, and tempers are short. Shortly after the festival, you start seeing graffiti cropping up everywhere. It seems that a lively, if not particularly civil, conversation between the two factions is being held on the flat surfaces of the colony. Lum announces a zero-tolerance policy for political graffiti, but you notice that not every tag is being removed, just the ones against the war, of course. The atmosphere of the colony is oppressive, as thick as the choking dust heat itself. Everywhere you try to relax, people just want to talk about the war. To make matters worse, the sweltering nights are making your nightmares intense again. You return to work feeling more stressed than before. Yeah, talk about topical topics, like... This is a serious fucking year. I got you a steak. I got you crystals. All right, is there a throw a rock at Lum option? There is not. Unfortunate. You know, if Lum was on fire, I'd piss on him to put it out. But only so I could light him on fire myself. Because then I get a double whammy. 1, pissing on him. 2, the knowledge that I'm the reason he's screaming and burning and not going to exist anymore. Here you go, Cal. Have some blobber fruit. You can chuck it at Lum over there. It's hot and humid inside the geoponics bay, making your clothes stick to your skin as you look around for Cal. Eventually you see him, his back turned to you as he lifts bags of fertilizer into a wheelbarrow. You call out to him as you approach. He turns to you with a beaming smile. Solana, he greets you. I was hoping I'd see you today. You open your mouth to respond. You hear a quiet crack and a hiss from nearby. Oh, bud, watch out, Cal says, stepping between you and what you realize too late is a humidity sprinkler. Cal laughs as he's blasted by a cloud of mist. For one perfect moment, it looks as if he's been outlined with 1,000 rainbows. Aw, that sounds like a cool picture. Ah, dip, Cal whines, smiling as he shakes out his hair and flips it back over his shoulder. I should have let you take that one, but your clothes would have gotten wet. He stands up straighter as your gaze passes over his body. He's really grown into himself, is the thing. Before your eyes, a droplet of water bravely winds its way from the rise of his chest and down the rippling muscles of his abdomen to where it disappears into the shirt tied around his waist. Cal tilts his head, his smile turning to a little teasing. He flexes his bicep at you. Caught you looking. Let's take our own shirt off. Cal laughs and jokingly covers his eyes as you take off your shirt. You twirl around your finger and launch it at his face. Ah, Cal whines, throwing your shirt back to you. Regular people are so sweaty. How can you stand being wet all the time? Cal pulls his hands on his hips and fixes you with a cocky grin. I'm always the right temperature, thanks to my enhancement. I don't even need to sweat. You should try it sometime, bruh. Get on my level. Ooh, perfect temperature control. Interesting. That is kind of nice. You spend an enjoyable afternoon helping Cal deliver bags of fertilizer to every corner of Hydroponics Bay. When the job's done, he claps you on the back. Oof, he's as strong as he look. Cal chitters at you about his plans for the rest of the week as you leave the hydroponics lab. The relatively cooler, drier air of Vertumna hits you like a slap. But of course, Cal doesn't look bothered at all. Race you to the cafeteria, he teases, before taking off down the path. You yell and run after him, causing a ruckus that makes a few adults shake their heads fondly as you tear through the colony side by side. Learn how to not rely on sun power. Okay, but have you considered how awesome it feels to bask in the sun, you know? I feel like it'd probably feel quite nice if you laid on a nice warm rock for a while, you know? Got a little bit of sunlight there, just a little nice and snug and toasty. I've got crystals for you know me. Shiny, glittering crystals. You're about to challenge Nomi to a game of Laser Fable, but you notice they seem kind of down today. When you ask what's up, they just sigh and scuff their feet in the dirt. Solana, what do you want to be when you grow up? A peaceful, average life. Wow, it's so cool you already know what you want to do, Nomi says in awe. What's that like? I've been thinking about what I want to do in my life, but I just don't know, Nomi says, pouting a little. I thought that being here would mean I could just find something I'm good at, but everything I try just sucks. It's boring, and I'm not good at anything except drawing and writing. Before we landed on Vertumna, I thought I'd end up doing whatever was assigned to me, Nomi continues. We had this duty roster, right? And I figured I would keep working at the canteen, then I could spend the rest of my time playing holo games and making up stories. They frown. I've peeled a lot of potatoes. But since we landed here, I've been talking to Mars, and she's real serious about the idea that any colony worth living needs to have artists and writers, like me. They touch their fingertips together. So I was thinking, what if I really did follow my dreams? Nomi perks up a little just talking about it. I could be a comic artist, or a holo game designer, or a writer. Oh, I could be anything, as long as I get to make stuff that people like. What do you think, Solana? Oh, fuck yeah. Alright. Mars, you know, we've had some rocks. We've had some rocks in our dealings, Mars. But this is a fucking based take. Alright? Did not expect that up from you. I'm gonna be honest. You kinda been doing all very capitalistic, commercial, commodification centric kind of vibes, which has not been great, but supporting artists and writers having value. Lots of based. Good job, Mars. And yes, we do need people just like you, Nomi. You really think so? Nomi exclaims, holding their hands to their cheeks, popping one foot off the ground. Oh, I'm so happy. Did you know in ancient times we used to be people called bards whose only job was to tell stories? They continue. That sounds like the best thing ever. Just be a wandering bard. Flower. And then I don't even know why I bother with Nem these days, but sure. Have a fucking flower or something. Is engineering fixed? It is not. It's gonna be awkward if it's out for the rest of the game. I'm not gonna lie.